this is Justin, aka Demonic Sweaters, here at the Vintage Tech Review. Today I have the Zoom PS-04 digital handheld Palmtop Studio. This is a digital 4-track that came out in 2005, and these things are really cool. Now, 2005 is kind of pushing it for the Vintage Tech Reviews, but I have had this unit since 2005, and since they no longer make anything really like this at this stage, I think it does qualify as a Vintage Tech Review. Now, what all can this thing do? Now, first off, it is a digital 4-track, like I said. It has 4 simultaneous playback tracks that you can do, but it is much more than just that. There are several things this thing can do that an analog 4-track cannot do. And one of them is it has a built-in condenser microphone, which is right there. And that is good for acoustic guitar or vocals. Not so great for really loud sounds, like acoustic drums tend to overload the high end on it a bit. But for certain things, it actually sounds pretty good. I especially like it for vocals. Aside from that, we also have a fully programmable rhythm section built in. Now, what that means is you can actually program your own drums as well as bass lines on this little thing. They're not exactly the most intuitive things to program, but you can program and you can actually make beats with the little buttons up here. You can turn these into pads and you can play your own beats and kind of do some sequencing on it, as well as record your own sounds. In addition to the built-in microphone, it also has the standard 1/4-inch input right there, as well as a line input and a headphone out and a line output, as well as a tactile, input level knob right there. As if that wasn't enough, it also has built-in effects, and 2 types of built-in effects. It has insert effects as well as send effects. Now, what that means is you can actually put an effect on whatever you're recording live, and that will be recorded to the signal that actually gets recorded to tape, if you want to say that. And then the other one is the send effects that you can do in the mixdown process. In addition to 4 tracks, it also has 10 virtual tracks, or virtual takes is what they call them, for each track on here. Now, what that means, you can imagine each track being like a sandwich with 10 layers in it. And so say you record drums on track 1 and then you want to do another take, you can just use the virtual take 2 on track 1 and record drums again, and it won't erase over the first track that you did. And then when you go to mix down, you can either mix down all the tracks, as number, that are on the tracks here, or you can bounce them to your computer and use those virtual tracks as actually more tracks that you wouldn't be able to mix on this, but you could mix them digitally on your computer. Now, as far as the record medium, what is really weird about this thing, it actually records on something called smart media cards. Now, these cards are no longer being produced, or if they are being produced, it's by very few companies. And they are originally made for a camera photo medium, which is what this one that I'm holding in my hand right here, you can see it's an Olympus. And these, the highest memory or storage capacity that you could buy of one of these smart media cards was 128 megabytes. And that's what this one is right here. So it's not even half a gig. They're actually pretty small. But with the 128 megabyte card, you can get a fairly decent amount of recording time on this unit, at least enough to record a full song or a couple full songs with multiple tracks on here if you want to. As far as recording quality, in my opinion, this is what makes this unit extremely interesting, because it's, like I said, it's a digital recorder, but it doesn't record at quite CD quality. It's basically almost CD quality. What I mean by that is CD quality was 100 kilohertz for the digital sample rate. However, this one records somewhere around 32,000 kilohertz, which is, it's a little bit lower than CD, but it still sounds pretty good, but it gives it this almost like a vintage sampler sound to it. And then if you use the long setting, there's actually 2 different settings you could record on, standard and long. And if you use the long setting, it drops that down to about 15,000 kilohertz, which makes it sound even more lo-fi. I personally actually really like this, and I've recorded several songs. In fact, on my album Polybius, the title track, Polybius, was recorded on this unit, and it was using the long, lower sample rate version, because I think it has a very interesting quality to it. But I know a lot of people aren't exactly like me in that way, but some people are. This low sample rate gives it kind of an interesting quality in my opinion, and makes for some pretty unique sounding recordings. Now what I'm going to do in this video is actually record something that I've been working on. It's a new song, and I'll probably do a demo version on this actual audio recorder right here. And what I'm going to do is start by doing some guitar tracks, because that's what I wrote the song on, and then I'll probably put some bass over it, and then some live drums. Now I'm not going to be using the built-in rhythm section for this demo, but I am going to be using another thing that I don't think I mentioned yet, which are the amp modeling effects that you could do. And let me go ahead and turn it on. I have my screen light disabled because that saves the battery quite a bit, but you can have a backlit screen if you want. But here, if you push this button right here, effect, you can see that it goes to what it says send right there, and so that means it's on send effects. But if I press it again, it goes to something that says guitar. And what this can do, it allows you to create your own basically your full effects racks and amp simulations all within this unit, and they actually sound pretty good. So I made one already for my guitar, and I'm going for kind of an 80s metal-y type sound with a lot of chorus and distortion on it, and I created that all in here, and that's how I'm going to be recording it. So like I said, I'm going to do some guitar tracks, and then I'm going to do some bass and do some drums, and we'll see how this all comes out. One of the things I forgot to mention, it also has a built-in tuner. Alright, so here I am inside of my drum room, and I'm going to be recording some drums just into the PS-04 with a single microphone, and you just saw it there. It's that Nady RSM5 ribbon mic, and that has a figure 8 pickup pattern, which means it picks up this direction as well as this direction. I don't want to face it like down because I think that'll pick up too much ride, but this way I should be able to get all the drums and get a little bit of room ambience, even though my room is like tiny. But I have experimented with this position many times, and actually that is a pretty great position for using a single mic on the drums. It seems to pick up everything right there. So yeah, so I'm gonna get a level, and we'll see what we can do. Alright, well it sounds like I'm getting way too much kick, so I think what I'm going to do is actually switch to an overhead position for the drums. Alright, so once you get all the tracks recorded and mixed the way you want, just using the little mixer interface right here, you can actually mix it down one of about 3 different ways. The first being just how I'm doing it right now, which is basically running the output into my audio interface on my computer, and I'm just going to play this back in real time and record it in Audacity. The other way you can do it is actually bounce down to 2 virtual takes on the unit itself, which I'll do later, and then you can go into the card reader software that you can still download from the Zoom website and actually pull the tracks off of the virtual tracks off of the card using the card reader software. You can also use that card reader software to pull all of the individual tracks off of here and then mix them on your computer if you want to do that. Now, one thing that's pretty cool is if I go in here onto my effects, you'll see something there that says mastering. And what that does is basically once you get your mix set up the way you want to do it, you can choose one of these mastering effects that does a pretty nice job of putting compressors, limiting, and some stereo widening effects. And there's several of those to choose from. And once you get the one you like, I'm using the one called Clear, and that's number 7. Once you get the one you like, you can just play it back. And let me play it here. And of course, you're hearing that back through the microphone on the camera. But once I get this all bounced down and mixed, at the end of the video, I'm going to show you how it all sounds and then show you me playing drums to the track as well. All right, so getting the individual tracks off of the card and onto your computer is a bit of a challenge. You're going to need a special adapter, kind of like this one. And I got this one on Amazon a really, really long time ago. I'm not even sure if these are still available, but if they are, I'll post a link down below. But basically what this is a smart media card. Well, it's a multi-card reader, I think. Yeah, it does read SD cards in there as well, but it also reads smart media cards, and it's called a Camera Mate. So you're going to need a card like this, or a card reader like this, rather, unless you happen to have a really, really old computer that has a smart media card reader built in. So this just plugs in there to the USB, and then I can just plug this into my computer and get the data off of this. Now, the files that the PS-04 writes are not your standard WAV files. They're in a proprietary AUD format, so you need the card reader software from the Zoom website in order to get the files off of this card, and I'll show you that here in a second. All right, so this is what the card reader looks like, and it's pretty easy to use. All you have to do is you just plug in your card reader, or plug in your USB card reader, then Card Manager, that's what this thing's called. So Card Manager for PS-04, you can see right there, we just select the drive here on the right, and now we can see all of our different takes and tracks. So here, if you just look left to right, we have 1-1, 2-1, 3-1, 4-1, and then 4-2. Those are our 4 tracks, but then you can see here 4-2 is my virtual take of my drums. Now, if we look down here on virtual take 3, I have 1-3 and 2-3, and that's the bounce that I did. So what I can do is pan these 2 channels left and right like that, and then I can go VTake to wave.aif by selecting these 2 first. And now what this will do is bounce down that track to mix.wave. So I just click save, and I'm going to replace it because I already did it once. And that's all you have to do. Now it bounced it down, and now we have the mix straight from the PS-04. All right, so just one last thing before I actually play you guys the song. Just wanted to show you here, I'm back in Linux, and I just wanted to show you that you can mix, basically if we just go into Audacity, or you could use whatever, Reaper or Ardor or whatever DAW you want to use, but I'm just throwing everything in Audacity right now just because it's easy. And just drag and drop stuff in there like that. And let me see if it'll let me do 2 at a time. It should. And what's nice about Audacity is, well, I mean, everything's kind of like this, but I can go in here and normalize all of these very quickly. And where am I? There we are. Let's go ahead and normalize all these tracks. Okay, get them all up to par. And let's just do a quick playback. And you get the idea. It's just, you can get a better sound this way, really, than mixing on the actual device, I think. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and play back the full song and just show you guys the video of me playing drums to it. And that'll be all for this video. So thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. And let me know if you did. Click like button and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, or if you have one of these and you want to tell me about it, let me know down below. you can always check out my Patreon page, which is just patreon.com/demonicsweaters, and you can get free downloads from there, as well as advanced copies of music that hasn't come out yet and all kinds of cool stuff. So please go check that out. It does help me out if you can be a patron for any amount. If you are a patron for $10 a month, you can get a free 180-gram vinyl copy of my album Minnesota. So anyway, thanks for watching, everybody, and have a great day.